Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Music Talks podcast with your host, Bobby Rose. With me, I have a friend of mine that I've been keeping a close eye on for a while. He plays the trumpet in a few areas of performances, such as orchestra and contemporary scenes and the jazz scenes even recently. And he's also a son of a professor from UITM, the University of Technology Mara. So I am intrigued in talking to him and finding out his experience in being within this context, the special context of changing hats between a student and a son, a composer and a performer, and above all, just a talented musician. So, ladies and gentlemen, with me I have today my very good friend Armand Haniff.
Hey everyone. I hope everyone is doing okay. I mean, we're in this pandemic, but yeah, I hope everyone's staying safe and taking care of themselves, always wearing their sanitizers and masks and all that. But yeah, hey everyone, I'm Armand Haniff. Thank you, Bobby, for the introduction. It's very good. So yeah, I'm here. Thank you for inviting me also for this talk.
Yeah, glad having you on board. So I just have to ask, did you buy that microphone because we're going to do the podcast, or did you already
No,
have?
no, no. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to show you something.
Okay, sure.
Because since this microphone has a little bit something to do with what we're going to talk. So this microphone is actually KL Sinfonia's microphone.
Oh, fantastic. Do you mind if you just talk into the microphone? You can show, but like we can't really hear.
Okay. So if you can see, yeah, so we have our Sinfonia logo here. So the standard
Fantastic.
one.
Uh-huh.
So since the orchestra is not playing so much, so I might as well take some of the equipment and use it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've been having this microphone for quite a while now. So it's just that not Adela, I try to use it in some recordings and all that, just for little recordings in relevance to Sinfonia's activity during the pandemic even. So yeah.
Awesome. So before we get to that orchestra, that side of the community, I just wanted to ask, what's work from home for you? Like, what do you do generally
Oh.
these past 2 years, this past 1 year?
Because I'm still studying, so study of course. There's not much. There's not much thing I do actually. Other than studying and practicing, and working on my skills in since I'm a composition student. So, working on my skills in doing more on studio works. Because we
Mm-mm.
can't perform outside physically. So, yeah, I try to fill my time with having all these equipments, creating my room into a mini studio, a home studio,
Nice.
as others would say.
Yeah. Hold on.
So
So
yeah,
I just want to get that straight. You're a composition student. You're doing your bachelor's, your
yep,
degree in
yep.
composition.
I'm doing my bachelor's degree in composition.
Fantastic. And how has that been?
Oh, it's been okay. It's been challenging, very challenging, of course. Because okay, so when I was in my diploma years, I always talk with my friends. Hey, why are you going to continue degree into? Are you going to do performance or composition? So I said, yeah, I'm going to do composition. At first, I wanted to do performance, but then my mom said because she's also a performer first. So she said, "Oh, why don't you go into composition since um, because I can already perform. So why not go into something, learn something new? You see?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I said, yeah, okay, that's cool. Okay, I should give it a try. And then when I talk to my friends, my peers, I want to do composition, and then all the first question they said, wow, composition, isn't that hard? Do you gotta be good in theory in order to do composition, right? I was like that first, but then as time goes on, as I was doing my degree, I said, no, theory is theory, but the main thing is creativity because I mean you can look nowadays even all the music tak perlu you don't have to put as many chords as sharp 13, flat 13 or seventh chords. A four chord song will do, you see?
Yeah.
Like Billie Eilish's songs. All
Yeah.
of those are quite um there are some four chords in her pieces which
Mm.
still she can win Grammys. Of course, her music is so much more than that in terms of production.
Yeah.
Sorry, Phineas, her brother, using all sorts of sounds and manipulating the sounds, which
Yeah.
Dr. Fauzi Musib of UPM is quite good in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the even one of her songs like has only like two chords, right? It's just like changing like two chords every four bars. That's it. And then
Yes,
you
yes.
yeah.
You just go all out with your creativity and sounds. It's more when I go into composition, it's more on how you explore the sounds and how you manipulate and create new stuff, invent new stuff. That's how composers work. Also, in if
Yeah.
you see in the music history books. So
That's
so yeah, so yeah, that's that.
yeah. That's awesome. So I just wanted to ask like Dr. Camelia Siti Maya actually had a survey of people composers within like 2020 like during the lockdown and all. One of the findings that she got from that survey is that somehow composers tended to change their mindset. Like before this, you would go out, you would see like, okay, there's a brass band. Okay, I'm going to go back and write for brass band. You're watching an orchestra. I'm going to go back and write for an orchestra. But now because you're not watching anything, so your musicality in composition seems to change. Like even when you say like relating to Phineas Eilish and how he composes, so it's more of a sonic composition rather than musical composition. Does that actually happen to you?
Yes, actually, of course, composing, I still haven't composed much, but I have all these pieces of ideas inside my head going on. So before this, I always go for more funk music, fast-paced music, as I'm a brass player, so I like all those kind of music. But now, since when we're into this pandemic, everything starts to slow down a bit. So I realized that I listen to music that's more orchestral related, or how to say, mellow sounding music,
Hmm.
where for example, what are the music, if you heard one of our alumni is also, her name is Heidi, her song called Kata Hati, which the instrumentation will be of one voice, a guitar, and a string orchestra, a string ensemble. So I tend to listen to more pieces that have strings inside it, where it has mellow sounds and all that.
Did you happen to help her compose that one, or was that just her?
Ah, no, that was just her.
Okay.
But I use the song as an inspiration.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, and I love the fact that you actually mentioned that it's within your circle. So you actually
Yeah,
you're not just looking all the way out there to the other side of the world. It's somebody right within our district, right within our country. So that's awesome.
yeah.
But what I was referring to more is that okay, so that's interesting. You did mention more of the mellow side, more of the string side, but how does that relate to like? Can you actually relate to that? Relate to the string side, mellow side, especially when you have such a brass is tends to be a bit more brighter, tends to be a bit more attacking. So it's
Mm.
so contrasting, don't you think so?
Yeah, it contrasts to my style, so it requires me to listen more and discover more on how do the players actually play the instrument, the techniques, every articulation, and string players, they even also have their bowings and all that. So
Yeah.
again, like I said, being into studying composition makes one to discover and learn something new outside of what they have been learning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but still, back to your first question when you said relating musical styles with this pandemic. I'm not sure about that, but what I realized that I started to listen to more mellow sounding music and having slower tempos and all that.
Yeah.
And because we're contained in this house, in a place. So all right, so when we're in this pandemic, so we are more inhibited in our house, in our safe space. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
tend to go something into safer, because something safer, macam something more melodious, and instead of all those punches and kickers of the normal typical brass
Nothing
instrument or
experimental,
music.
nothing expressive.
Nothing experimental.
Yeah.
Since experimental music is not my forte yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, that's awesome that you said yet. I
Yeah.
respect that. I respect. Yeah. So, I do have to thank you when you say that, because I do remember that there is an actual study relating between the soundscape of Malaysia, for example, actually relates to
Mm-hmm.
the traditional music of Malaysia. This is by Julia Cheng, Dr. Julia
Mm-hmm.
Cheng, and it relates to how people that are, the Malay word, ladies and gentlemen, is meriah. Meriah means festive. So people being more festive, being more open with each other, harmonious with each other. So they tend to create more harmonious, and not musically harmonious, but like humanly harmonious and festive with each other. So I'm thinking theoretically that because people are less harmonious, people are locked down, people are, like you said, they're inhibited, they're in their safe space, it might change the face of Malaysian music. Wouldn't you think so?
It might, but this might be a sensitive answer or statement. But since most of Malaysians know that our culture is slowly receding, but there are still activists that still holds on to want to make more music. The traditional music of Malaysia, like for example, Mr. Kamrul Bahrain, and then Mr. Yazid Zakaria from OTM, Orchestral Traditional Malaysia. So we much more rely on this. How do I say it? We rely on this people that have experience more. Of course, I've seen also young students that are younger than me. They are try to experiment with new music, not experimental, new music that relates to the traditional instruments.
Mm-mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. The
So
fusion,
yeah,
right?
the fusion, yeah. So maybe I think it differs from everyone. It's subjective. Some people might feel they're inhibited, so they are in a way not depressed, but that feeling of being trapped, quote unquote
Uh, uh,
trapped.
uh.
But there are, because if you can see animals in a cage, some animals they are might be lenient into being a cage, so they just rest in a cage. But some animals, they would be furious and try to break away from
Break.
that cage. You
Mm.
see, yeah. So maybe these are the people that want to experiment and try. Okay, so I'm here. I don't have anything to do. So shall I do something to bring my voice out? You see.
Ah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's very interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, because this is an academic podcast, it is my obligation to actually explain. Um, just now, my friend Armand actually mentioned that Dr. Fauzi Ahmad Musib, he's a sound engineering lecturer and audio production lecturer in UPM. And Encik Kamro Bahari, Mr. Kamro Bahari, he's an activist when it comes to traditional music. I really have no other word for it. He's a advocate. He's an advocate, I guess, in traditional music, but he performs in he's the face, he's the mascot of traditional Malaysian traditional music. And Mr. Yazid Zakaria, he's the conductor of OTM, the Orchestra Traditional Malaysia. Awesome. Thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. So let's move on to the more university side, the educational side.
Yeah.
So, can you just give us a brief summary on what is KL Sinfonia? Like who, what, when, why?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, KL Sinfonia, it started on the 10th of January 2017.
Wow.
Yeah, it was my mom's idea, because how should okay, KL Sinfonia is basically a community orchestra where we aim to target into the community side of Malaysia for those who don't have access in learning music, but they have passion and they are interested in learning music, but they don't have access in getting a teacher, having access or to an instrument or even playing in an ensemble.
Mhm.
So that is why my mom started this idea calling KL Sinfonia a community orchestra where we target to those in the community where we help other people. Why she did this idea is because she stumbled upon a video in a few years back, of course before establishing KL Sinfonia. She saw this music teacher. It was somewhere in Africa where he teaches this group of kids in a village. They don't have any access to instruments, so what they did was they take scraps, for example, aluminum metal, and they turn it into their own instruments, like violin. And believe me, it sounds fantastic, seriously. So they started making their own instruments out of scrap metals and other recyclable items. And then one of the pieces was they played Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik, and it was good actually. I mean, it was so heartwarming to see, for someone, for kids, village kids that don't have access in learning music, but with the help of a teacher, of an educator that still have passion in teaching music. So he goes out there and teach and give out what he can to make their lives better. At least they can do something. They can use music as a job and to even teach someone else. So yeah, so that's how my mom was inspired to do KL Sinfonia. So it was then it was my late father helped her in creating KL Sinfonia, establishing it. We did it quite correctly, I would say. So all right, so then with the help of my late dad, my mom was more on the creative side, and then my dad was more on the management side. So we created a society, and then we even created committee members so that it can help with the organization. We have our, of course, chairman, Prof. Haniza, and then vice chairman would be my dad, and then we have our treasurer, our arranger, and all the different AJKs, all the different people to so that they can go around in doing other official stuff. So we went to ROS. It's called Registrar of Society, where we wanted to register the society. And then since my mom said, of course, our main sole purpose is to teach, but if any organizations are interested in having us play the music, so it would be cool if we can play for them. So if ever they want our service, they should pay us, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, so we wanted to make it proper, so we registered to uh, SSM, I think.
Mhm.
So that we have a proper bank account. We went to a bank so that we create a bank account specifically for KL Sinfonia. So all the money that goes in and out, it goes to that account.
Yeah.
So there'll be, everything will be in transparency, and there'll be no like macam, okay, oh, where did the money come from? Where did the money go and all
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So yeah, because we have an entrance fee of 10 ringgit, and then monthly for about 5 ringgit.
Yeah.
That also helps us because we don't have a venue like a place. So since most of our players are in Shah Alam Selangor, so we find, if you notice in Shah Alam, there are those grey halls with red doors. So those are community halls under MBSA Shah Alam. So where we can rent the halls, so we can use it for our practice space.
Nice. And
Yeah.
and have you guys been like going on with this like last year? I know the answer, the obvious answer, but has it still been going on since last year until this year?
Virtually last year. This is gonna be a
Virtually.
bit personal. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is gonna be personal because my dad passed away last year on November.
Yeah. I'm so
So
sorry to hear that.
it's okay. I know it's okay. So since then, before he passed away, we did one virtual piece on our Instagram, and then after that, I was working on the. That's why I said I created this mini studio so that I can invite people to come over to record, and then I would want to post it on KL Symphony's Instagram. So
Mhm.
while I was working on that, and then we have a little bit of a problem with my dad and all that. So that work is on pause for a while, is on hiatus. So at this point, we're still, of course, deep in our hearts, me and my mom, we wanted to continue this orchestra, but we're still, because my mom and me, we are more on the creative side. We still don't know how to manage this, because if you can see, my dad has a table in his house, his desk, where all the files, all the official receipts and files of KL Symphonia is still stored in those files. So he has his own system,
Yeah.
which we didn't have the time to learn, and how he created and how he manages his system. But there'll be a time where we try to I try to take on what he has done, and then yeah, from there I started slowly lah. But yes, maybe right now we're more focusing on virtual pieces lah. I mean, post it on Instagram or on YouTube. Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's really inspiring. The fact that you guys still keep going, despite, we got a lot of orchestras nowadays. They are being set back,
Yeah.
which is
S-
very, yeah, and it's very interesting because even universities like Berkeley and Juilliard and other universities around the world, they still have um, these virtual orchestras. When you meet up, you don't have rehearsals per week, every week, but you still meet up to
Yeah.
update yourself. And does is that uh, did you find that the quality of playing, the level of playing seem to drop, or is everybody still like going strong?
Yeah. It depends on the individual, I guess. If someone that still have the fire to continue on practicing and keeping themselves on par with every other musician, then that's cool. But we can't expect everyone has that same passions. If especially at times like this, some musician, they have to take a side job or doing
Yeah,
other things other than
non-music
music. So
jobs even.
non-music jobs, yeah, just to stay alive, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But because I was with I'm a reserve player in MPYO, so I can see, because MPYO, they will always have their annual music camps before the
Yes.
pandemic, where everyone come and then have their practice and all that. So recently MPYO have their annual webinar where they talk more about composition. The last I joined was, it's called Beethoven Recomposed.
Hmm.
So we talk more about compositions, and the students, the players, they have their own chance in composing music, but based on Beethoven. So now that I see, you see, even um, now, and when it comes to this pandemic, music performance is really is cannot be alive, you see.
Yeah,
Now everyone depends on compositions and all that.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just had the episode before this. I was just talking to a friend of mine who actually joined MPYO, Chong Chun Wong.
Mm.
And even before this, I had another episode with Adam Sharawi. You know him. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's very interesting that there is still that community gathering all the way before this,
Yeah.
but it's quite difficult. It's understandable that they MPYO can't continue until now, but it's quite difficult for you guys. It might just like drift off bit by bit, and you know,
Yeah.
not sure what the future of MPYO is from this point.
Yeah. And even MPO, I mean, our Petronas Philharmonic Orchestra, they have to halt all concerts and all that,
Yeah,
just so
yeah.
that because yeah.
Oh, we just took a depressing turn into our
Yes, it's
yeah.
quite depressing, but it's okay. I mean, it is what it is.
That's true. It is. I mean, it's the reality of the world. Don't you think so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's real. I mean, we have to do anything to stay alive. Takkanlah we want to go out there and risk ourselves in getting infected and all that.
Yeah.
As well it is by now, our cases has also gone up. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So now that we have, you already shared about your experiences in orchestra and all this performance side. What about your composition side? Did you spend some time like arranging orchestral works, composing orchestral works for not even for KL Symphonia? Because I know there was another one that you joined in KL Pack, a composition
Yeah,
competition series.
composition
Yeah,
composer series, yeah.
composer
So
series. Yeah,
for as for my composition world, che,
yeah, yeah.
as for my composition world, at this point I haven't composed anything yet, but recently I was asked by an RTM player. He wants me to arrange for a string quartet for them to use. So that's one of it. And then I also composed for MPYO, the one that I told you about, Beethoven Recomposed. So
Oh,
the process was they only wanted to do certain instruments, but I said, hey, I have the equipment and I have the means, so why not I just go all out with orchestra.
yeah.
So yeah, I just full on did an orchestral composition based on Beethoven. And about KLPAC, okay, so uh, since I'm a student in UiTM, so every year also UiTM, the composition department of UiTM, they will do this event. It's called KLPAC Composer Series. Of course,
Mhm.
the venue is KLPAC. So how it is done is that they have different kinds of segments where they will be having uh, modern segments and classical bands, piano solo works and vocal.
Mm.
So, but every other pieces or songs are all entirely composed by the composition
Participants.
students, by the
Yeah.
participants. Yeah, and
Mm.
the competition also every year they change it because last 2 years when I joined, the competition was more on the piano trio.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did that. Okay, a funny story about the KLPAC piano trio competition. So the story goes, okay, when I started joining, of course, if we all join, if we started our, we start our degree, we will feel like macam, okay, I'm still a junior. I wouldn't want to go and pursue all these big events, you see.
Mm-hmm.
But then I see all my batch, my colleagues, they are very fired up, very passionate. Oh, I want to join this, or I want to do this. They even ask me, hey Arman, are you doing anything for KLPAC Parent Trio? And I said no, because I still don't know, okay, what are needed to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
piano trio composition. So I said, okay lah, just let them do it, and then I just go around and do my studies. So then, slowly, day by day, I see everyone is they're getting excited and all that. And then, okay, sorry. Because I know why they want to do it, because they have their own respective composition lecturers. So, which means every composition student, they are assigned to each lecturer, so that will have a one-on-one composition class.
Oh, it's like a
So
supervision thing.
yes, yes. So
Mm-hmm.
since my lecturer is more on the modern side, so she doesn't uh she doesn't care so much if I join. Not care, but it's not that she doesn't care, but she's just that if I want to join, if you want to join, you join. If you don't want, it's okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like that. So I said okay lah. Then I just do nothing. And then because all of my other students, their lecturers are very, very
Pushy.
more on the classical side. Not pushy, they are
Oh,
more on the
okay.
classical side. So they want their students, oh, tak apa, you just go for it. It's okay, a learning experience and all that. So okay lah. I just go around looking, everyone's doing it, and then suddenly, I don't know why, this little spark in me said, "Yeah, Roman, do you want to do it?" So I like, okay. It was 3 days before the submission of the score. So I just said okay, and then with the help of my parents also, Arman, just do it. Okay, so I sat there in front of the computer. Okay, just do it. I find a motive, find an inspiration, and I just do it. And then okay, I sent the submission in 3 days. Of course, it's to me it doesn't sound good.
Everyone's their
It's
own
it doesn't
self-critic. Yeah.
yeah, so it doesn't sound good, or it doesn't expand so much. So
Mhm.
okay, what to me is that okay, whatever, I just submitted it. And then a few days later, after a few weeks, the panel said, okay, we have chosen the pieces that are going to be. So the process goes, you submit your score, and then you will have a preliminary section, and then you go into the concert itself.
Mhm.
So I passed the first, I submitted it, and then surprisingly, I advanced in the preliminary section with some of my batchmates also.
Mhm.
So the preliminary was on the day of my convocation, my diploma convocation. So after my
Oh.
convocation, I just rushed it to the faculty, and then watch, because the piano trio will be performed by Mutiara Piano Trio. It's Dr. Chong's team.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Dr. Joanne
Uh,
Yo as well, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So during the primary section, okay, so all the composers come forward and explain what their pieces are about and all that and all that. So okay, that's done. And after preliminary, they go into selection. They will only select 5 pieces to be played out of 10, 15
Mhm.
pieces for the KL pack. And surprisingly, my piece got in for the concert,
Fantastic.
which the piece that I composed in only what 2 or 3
2
days.
days. Yeah.
But my friends' pieces, they didn't advance to the KL pack concert.
Yeah.
The ones that have been doing for quite a while, but they didn't advance. I don't want to sound braggy, you see, but maybe it's just luck, sheer luck, I guess.
Yeah.
So
But
and then after the sorry, you were saying?
no, I don't want to say it's quite luck because then you would be downplaying, your talent and all the teachers that have been teaching you, right? So I would
Uh
assume that all roads lead here. So like everything that you've been doing throughout your whole life actually allowed you to compose something within 3 days. If you didn't experience your whole life, it would have taken you a month, maybe.
yeah,
Logically,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You have a point there. Okay, so after that, during the concert, so out of 5 pieces, of course there'll be 3 of the pieces will be placed third, second, and first place. And surprisingly, I got third place for my piece.
Fantastic.
So I was like, okay, wow, that was unexpected. And even during the concert itself, after the piano trio has played, and then my mom whispered to me, you should have at least put another section, a B section at least. Your piece sounds so hanging. So I
Yeah.
was like, I said, it's okay, ma, it's okay, it's done, it's done. I don't care. At least my piece got showcased in this KLPAC, you see, in this
Yeah.
venue.
Yeah.
So and then legit, me and both of my parents, we were legit surprised when I got third place. So I was like, okay, thank
Yeah.
goodness lah, thank God.
Congrats, man. That's a really big achievement. But it's interesting.
Thank
I
you.
am curious. I'm not sure. Like, did your mom say that as a music educator or as a mother?
Ah,
Yeah.
that is something up until now. I still cannot tell which is which. But I guess I guess it's both, as a mother and a music educator, because yeah, okay, putting music educator aside, our mothers, our parents, they have experienced more than us, obviously, so they know what the things that needed to be to to advance in life, and what are the things that you shouldn't do in life. And of course, as a music educator, as someone who have experience in music for quite a while, they also know, okay, this is how it should be done in order
Yeah.
for you to go to the next step. So I
Yeah.
guess it's both lah, actually.
Yeah. That's true. Actually, now that we're here, before we continue on, I just want to take a detour and just ask you a separate, not separate question. It's not a random question, but I'm wanting to ask you for a while now.
Mhm.
It's more of a personal question. So, do you think that being a child of a music educator actually played a big part in developing skills, your playing skills, your even interest in playing music in general?
Yes, it does. It does. Quite put a huge impact
Yeah.
because before this, when I was in standard 3 or standard 4, I don't even know that we can do music as our career, as a path of our life. So believe it or not, I wanted to be a firefighter before.
Okay.
So
No
one
comment
day,
on that.
yeah. So one day I just followed my mom. She asked me, okay, oh, I'm going to the university. You want to come? So I guess I said, yeah, sure, okay, why not? So I came to the university. I watched as my mom taught her class and all that. At that time, she was teaching the performance department's class. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool and all that. So as we were walking down towards our car, I heard this guy. He's playing a chromatic scale on the trumpet, and I was like, um, "Well, Mama, that's so cool." Because okay, why I was attracted to it because the way he played the chromatic scale, and then at that time when I was a child, we were attracted to games, right? So when I heard that chromatic scale, I said, "It sounds like a game punya sound." So
Yeah.
macam, wait, that's cool. Okay, I want to do that. I want to learn that, and then I want to play that. I said to my mom. So I want to, and then it turns out the one that played the instrument, he was playing the trumpet, and he was my teacher when I entered my diploma. So yeah. Anyways, going
Who
back.
is it, by the
So
way?
when I say, oh,
If you don't mind.
Mr. Karo Anwar.
Cairo Anwar. All right. Mr. Cairo Anwar of
It was
PIJ.
uh
Mhm.
it was Mr. Karo Anwar first and then Pidot. But anyways, so when I said my mom, yeah, I wanted to play that. So okay. So and then she also said, do you know that I play the trumpet too? And I was like, no way. Okay, so then that's where my music journey started.
Yeah. Nice.
I started playing the trumpet at 12 years old. It was the first piece that I remember. It was Hot Cross Buns.
Hot cross. Okay.
Yeah. I started playing that, and then I was standard 6, and then after UPSR, I went into this school that have an orchestra, a pop orchestra. So I joined that, and it was a very good experience, I could say, because without if I look back, without if I didn't go into that school, I wouldn't have the experience of playing in an ensemble. You see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was with that school that I have experience playing in orchestra. So yeah, when my mom asked me, okay, she taught me trumpet and all that, and I tell you, it was how shall I say this? It was quite an experience lah. I mean, I still remembered the first few lessons that my mom taught me. Oh, she's very strict, of course. So I still remember that I cried while playing the trumpet. Of course, playing an instrument, we have to uh, play it and learn it at the very basis of it, the foundation of it, of playing long tones, playing one note or two, three notes per day.
Mhm.
So at that point, I said, I just played a middle C on the trumpet to C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So it was a C major scale. I still remember it was a C major scale. And then, of course, we kids, we get easily distracted. And I say, Ma, I'm so tired. I don't want to play this anymore. But then my mom said, oh, it's okay. You still go on, still go on. At that time, she was cooking. So go on. And then I really, I was already on the verge of giving up. And I said, Ma, I don't want to play anymore. I'm tired of it. And then, you know what, my mom dropped her knife and said, okay, if you're so tired, just go upstairs and go play your PlayStation lah. So so I was like, oh damn, I better not mess with her. And then she was cutting the onions. You see, she was holding her knife when she was angry. So I was like, with her, I was like, okay, better not mess. And then I started crying. So I just go, pa, pa, pa. And then, looking back at that, when I talked to my mom about this, yeah, doing music, it really requires blood, sweat, and tears,
Yeah.
literally.
Thank goodness the
But
blood
with
part didn't go all the way, right?
yeah, but really, it was a good experience. I mean, when I look back at it, if it were for my mom having to be strict with me on practicing, I wouldn't be as where I am right now. Seriously.
Yeah.
because it requires playing music requires great discipline, that great passion you need to just to be able to play only one note but sustaining the tune without going a bit sharp or a bit flat. That's it. That is a true how should I say, a true measurement, I guess, in knowing that the person really work on his or her music, every piece of it.
Yeah. Oh, I think you're
Yeah.
just. I think you just. I think that's like along the lines of Miles Davis quote. It's not about playing 1,000 crazy notes, but it's about
Yes.
playing that one beautiful tone. That's right.
Yes, it was a quote. Yes, Pidot told me this. It's not about playing 100 notes once. It's about playing one note 100
100 times.
times.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
very true.
So yeah, when a little bit backtrack. So when we were talking about my experience in my mom teaching me trumpet and all that, and my mom said, "Do you know actually before you wanted to play the trumpet, I said that I wanted to play the French horn," and I was like, "Oh really? Yeah." And I was like, "Thank God I didn't play the French horn." No offense, all French horn players.
I did this
Because
past.
to me,
I did this out. No worry. No, I'm just
nah, it's
kidding.
okay.
Yeah.
So because to me, being a trumpet player, I think trumpet and trombone, the brass instrument, is quite a versatile instrument because you can play it in orchestra, either classical or pop, and you can also play it in a modern setting, a big band, a jazz fusion band, or even you can also play the trumpet as a solo instrument. So up until this point, of course, there are people experimenting, instruments having bassoon or clarinet or French horn playing all this, but it doesn't quite, how do I say this? I guess because it's not in the normal way. So I guess maybe it has that feeling of it's just not there.
Yeah.
You see?
It doesn't capture the whole essence of playing alone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So just imagine. I mean, there are big bands that uses French horn for sound, but can you imagine French horn playing Take Five?
I don't need to imagine. And I actually met a friend of mine, a senior of mine from USM. He
Oh,
graduated from USM. He wasn't even a music
uh-huh.
student. He was I don't know, another course. But he did play French horn for big band
Hmm.
or maybe for pop
Wow.
orchestra. And he played something along the lines of Dave Brubeck, uh,
Wow.
Take Five, and all.
Wow, that's cool.
I,
That's cool. Okay,
ladies and
okay.
gentlemen, I am so sorry. I know that I did promise you guys I'd be talking less about jazz this time around because last time you had to understand that last season I was talking like a lot about jazz and no classical. Then the email came like,
Uh-huh.
why don't you talk to classical players more? Okay, so I made a self resolution. Like I'm gonna talk to focus.
I see.
This is not my fault. This is his.
But ladies and gentlemen, I do play in some classical orchestra settings.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah, if you want to say more on the classical part also, I've played with UCSI's orchestra. It's not really UCSI per se, but okay. So the event was organized by UCSI under the baton of a Belgian conductor, and his name was Sir Dirk Brosse. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it was him. I was under the the tutelage of him.
Mhm,
So the event is called Young Malaysians Go Classic, the second series.
mhm.
It was on 2017, and
Do you
then
mind just showing us that book that you're referring to real quick?
oh yeah, sure. If you can
Yeah.
see here,
Oh,
Young
nice.
Malaysians, and then we have
Awesome.
the Belgian conductor.
Uh-huh.
So he's the conductor for when our performances. But then the conductor that trained us is Mr. Kevin Field.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. And then we have our, because the orchestra also we use some
Choir.
choir ensemble. So we have Susanna Saw,
Susanna. Uh-huh.
and of course our arranger is Ken Ho.
Yeah. The usual suspects.
The usual suspect. You see, music industry in Malaysia is quite a small industry. Everywhere we go, we always see the same people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, again, about Young Malaysians Go Classic. So The pieces are to me it's very very cool, very very interesting. So the first piece was we played some Disney favorites from Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, and Lion King.
Mhm.
And then we go a little bit contemporary. We played Rolling in the Deep by Adele, and
Mhm.
then a Ken Hall, and a piece orchestrated and arranged by Ken Hall from La Miserable.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then to go more into more
Modern stuff.
films
Oh,
modern
oh.
side, we yeah have a little bit of film scoring. So we played some superhero themes, and then theme from Thor, The Dark Knight, and also Spider-Man.
Ah,
So yeah,
nice, nice.
so this program it was an eye opener for me, because from there also I learned, I made quite a few networks, because I know this trumpet player from University Malaya, and then and then from that also I only knew that, oh, UCSI has an orchestra, and UCSI has a music program.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's cool. There are other universities that offer music other than Aswara, UiTM, and UPSI.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then so yeah, it was very cool. I like joining the program.
Yeah, that's it's very interesting that you put it that way. Because it is quite important to change hats. I would think so. Like you have to change a genre. How do you survive with that? Is it like very? Is it a difficult thing for you to just jump from one genre, one style of thing, because you can't use your classical tonguing
Mm,
technique or your classical breathing for pop playing, for
yeah,
example, right?
to me it doesn't affect me so much playing in either a classical or a modern setting, because um to me it's still the same. Whatever ensemble or setting you are in, you still gonna use the same foundation, the same basis that you started playing the instrument.
Mhm.
So but of course there are other embellishments inside it and all that, but I always believe that whoever any musician that started playing the classical way, they can survive in the modern way. But the musician that that started in the modern world, they cannot quite survive in the classical world.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they can, but barely, I guess. I don't know.
I was just having this same topic in the past episode, whereby if you go classical first and then modern, your technique, your breathing, your rhythm, everything is A plus. But if you go
Yes.
from modern first and then to classical, or maybe just modern, your musicality, everything's in here, but not. I
Yeah.
mean, not a lot is in here. You know that all the
Yeah.
fundamentals here.
Yeah, we're not trying to downplay jazz or modern
Oh no no no
modern
no. Yeah
settings. Yeah, but it's just that it does have a different setting. But somehow, when it comes to classical music, they are very particular in, okay, we need to work on this detail. Every little detail counts.
yeah
Every little rest counts. And of course, in jazz, they have a different vocabulary, but still. Um, when it comes to jazz or modern, when we ad lib, when we solo ad lib, uh, everyone just blah, 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 and then the last hit, that's where it matters.
yeah
The solo ad lib is just to show, to in a way, quote unquote, show off your skills, your virtuosity,
yeah
which also the classical era have in playing concertos, and we have
yeah
cadenzas and all that.
yeah. That's awesome that you put it that way. Thank you so much for sharing about all this. It really helps, and it's true. When you mentioned, we're not trying to downplay the jazz side. Or I have all people. I don't have the right to say that at all. But it is interesting that at the end of the day, there are important aspects to it. There are complexities on both sides. There is,
Yep.
um, but maybe it's a like you're one of the rare cases that you can just jump from. Oh, morning I have
Yeah.
a concert with MPO. At night I have a concert at the pub. So which I
Yeah.
guess I don't know. Is that a normal thing for horn players or?
Sometimes maybe, because I do stumble upon that situation where this day on the morning, in the morning I have to record for a brass quintet ensemble, and then at night I have to go around to play in more modern orchestra. Actually that day I was playing with RTM's orchestra.
Oh.
It was the 73rd concert evolusi.
Mhm.
So if all Malaysians know that RTM is more on doing the more modern and big band ish kind of music.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I just jumped from that day. In one day I played in a brass quintet where it's more classical and more proper. Proper. But then in the evening I played in RTM. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah. In other words, it's in the morning you had your necktie on. At night you took off your necktie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's a cool
Analogy.
that's a cool way to say it. Yeah, analogy.
Now I just wanted to ask you one last question, like about your performing side, your composition side. Do you actually apply them all separately, or do you actually pick and choose your different content? Because I know that you've been talking about orchestra, you've been talking about modern context and all, but at the same time, I've been doing like some background checking, and I saw like you do perform for the jazzier ensembles, and I'm not talking about like big band or orchestra. You do join other UITM students in like performing in like very um, authentic jazz, I would say. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so since we have in UITM we have our studio exams where the lecturers wanted the players, the students to play more real book jazz. So we played that, and it was quite fun actually. Of course, I don't want to say it's simple, but of course when you say Blue Bossa or Autumn Leaves, it is simple, but there are more aspects that we can look into. You see,
Mm-hmm.
so. Other than that, yeah, I've played in more jazz, proper jazz ensemble, and also I joined a band, a ska band or a reggae band, a ska and a reggae band that's outside of UiTM, but it's something that in my experience that was on my experience list.
Amazing. And do you now have a tendency to just look at the score as a composer immediately, first of all, or as a performer? Because more often than not, for music students, especially for fresh music students, when we see a score, we would think of, okay, this is where I need to do this is where I need to do this, how I play, like especially for me, like, oh, okay, paradiddle, forte, and then decrescendo.
Uh,
So as a player, but do you see it more as do you analyze immediately as a composer? Oh, this is very interesting. Oh, I can use this. Does it actually happen?
Actually, it comes both ways. As a composer and as a performer, I can see okay. In a performance sense, and in a performance aspect, I see okay. This is where I need to look at the conductor. This is where I need to breathe and all that. But then, as a composer side, I see oh okay. So if let's say I'm playing as a second trumpet instead of a first, okay, I see okay. So this note here, I need to be a little softer because I'm playing the third or the fifth harmony. I'm not playing the root note. So I see okay. So I played a little softer so as to support the first trumpet.
Mhm.
So I guess both in my experience being a composition student and my experience of being a performer, I guess it goes both ways. It works well.
Nice.
It complements each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't thought that I would turn out to be a composer because when I said to my mom that oh ma, when doing degree I want to do a performance degree, but then my mom said why and all that so she said that go into composition to learn. So I said okay lah. And then I was very macam skeptical macam alah susah macam semua and all that. It's very hard and all that.
Yeah.
It still is being a composer. It's hard to get new ideas and all that. But still learning. So yeah, I hope I can be one of the greats. Like Dato Mozani.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, the reason I laugh is just like at the back of my head. I think like, oh, was that the mother's like the Asian mother reaction? Like, huh, performance.
Yeah. I guess because like I said, every mother they have experienced it. So when I say I want to go
Yeah,
into
yeah,
one, she was like, "Ala, apa performance? And why not you go into this?" So okay,
yeah.
she
That's
already she knows what is needed and what is being done
yeah,
when we go into a certain field.
and even more so like what the industry calls for. You know, it's
Yeah, yes,
yeah,
yes. And up until now, what my mom always said to me. So, do you really think that you should go to performance, especially now in our pandemic? You see, where we can't perform, right? So
yeah,
then, I always said, oh ma. So macam kesian to all those people, you know, that full-time musicians, it's full-time performers, they rely on the money getting on when performing,
yeah.
but now they cannot perform. So that when I said that, and then when both of us reflect, and then my mom said, "Thank goodness you're in composition, right?" So it's like, oh, okay, ma, okay, you win.
You win exactly.
You.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Actually, like we've been talking about your parents for so long. Like your mom especially. Like we never got to know her name. Do you mind like
Ah,
for the purposes of
so
the listeners? Yeah.
yeah, so my mom's name is Hanizah binti Musib. She's an associate professor in UiTM, and she has been serving UiTM for more than 20
Yeah.
years.
So for ladies and gentlemen, for those that didn't catch that, yes, he is the nephew of the lecturer from UPM that I mentioned, Dr. Ahmad Fauzi. That's his uncle, and the mother. Yeah,
Yep.
it goes back to what Armand actually mentioned about how small the music community is. Yeah, it doesn't get any
Yeah.
smaller than this family.
And of course, even we can see. Have you experienced learning with Mr. Yuri,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
drummer?
yeah. I
Yeah,
did.
Yuri was my mom's student when she was teaching in performance department.
Hmm.
Yuri, even people like Fly Bass, Fly Halizor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and even there are quite a number of people that I can't remember. But then even when last time when I was, yeah, there was one event also that I joined. It's called the Penang International Brass Festival.
Mm-hmm.
That was what the brass quintet recording for. That was that day we need to submit our brass quintet video to the organizer. So we did that. So anyways, and our piece was chosen, and our quintet. So during the PIBF, Penang International Brass Festival, we were the only group that have a brass quintet. All the other participants are just going there as a solo players,
Yeah.
but we were the only brass quintet ensemble. So, of course, the PIBF has various segments, the quintet, apa, master classes and all that. And of course, during the last night, there will be macam like a concert with all these brass players playing. So there's this one lady I still remember. There's this piece I played, and then she was my first trumpet, I guess. It's a Chinese lady. She plays the trumpet for fun. But before this, she said that she played the double bass in Istana Budaya, and it seems that
Wow.
yeah, and it seems that when everything is ended, we talked a bit and all that, and then my mom came over. So and then this lady asked, "I'm so sorry, if Mrs. Lady, if you're hearing this, I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name." But when we were talking, and then my mom came over, you know, my mom and dad and all that, and then this lady, she said, "Hey, oh, I remember you. You were there during that time before." Before it's called the NSO, National Symphony Orchestra. It was called something else. I can't remember, but my mom was there too. It was in IB also. So she was playing the double bass, and she remembered my mom, but my mom said, "Oh, sorry, my mom didn't remember her." You see, that's how small the music industry is in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's,
oh, okay, everyone knows each other.
yeah. And I assume it's a normal thing. I mean, like for the elder generation because they meet so many people, so you can't expect them to remember you. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a normal thing.
and because especially during our mother's time, at that time also music is not, it's not as big as now, as our generation is. So really it's just so small, I guess. So now it's gotten a little bit bigger, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So thank you so much for sharing about all this, and
You're
it's
most
really,
welcome.
yeah, it's really helpful. So I just wanted to ask one last question, like before I let you go.
Mm,
You already explained about your performance side. You already explained about your composition side. You know, your experiences in orchestra, your experiences in different ensembles, your experiences in, the establishment of community projects and all. What's your next plan
mm.
after this?
So yeah, for my long term plan, I would want to be a lecturer and educator. But then again, I would also want to try out being in the music industry, whereas being in Istana Budaya, playing in orchestra in Istana Budaya or RTM, or even any recording studios, being a sessionist. That would be great. That would be good experience. That would be good add on for my CV later in my in my later days, later
Hmm.
years.
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I guess being an educator still would be the best option, because yes, you can perform and all that, but until what age can you perform? When you're 50, are you still going to perform even when you have a family and all that?
Hmm.
But I see being an educator, it does have the benefit of, or you can educate, and you can teach these kids that have so much more potential in them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, buddy, for being with us today. And I'm really
Yeah.
honored to actually have you on board for this one episode. For now, it's one episode. We might have another
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bobby, for inviting me again. I'm also honored to be invited in this podcast. I mean, this is my first time actually being invited for me to talk about my experiences and all that. Well, feel like a star, che.
And you should.
But
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to our episode today. We hope you find something that's inspiring or educational for you. And if you do have any questions for us, either for my friend Armand or for me, you can just shoot us an email at aminbob13@yahoo.com. And I'll either get my friend here to reply, answer in future episodes, or I'll answer to you directly. Thank you so much.